What I'm going to show you here is an ideal smoke for mid, which we're going to use quite a bit when pushing just about any site. This first one is going to be how a lot of people do it, and I'm not actually going to use it that way. I just want to show you the differences. So this is the first one, which is kind of complicated to line up, and even when you line it up perfectly, it has some problems. So that's what the smoke looks like. You can get it a little farther back to where it smokes closer to this wall, but even so, you can usually see through this corner with an op, or see through this corner, or if anything, it's not as dangerous to run through because there's still a wall to hug and then peek from and all that. Not to mention, if you slightly mess it up, for example, say you line it up and you're just a little bit too far to the left, what happens is the smoke leaves one side entirely exposed, like this, where you can totally see. So the one I came up with is a little more difficult to pull off initially, but once you learn it, it's much more effective and not as precise. You don't have to worry as much. So what you're gonna do is when you come through the spawn, you just kind of look at this window right in the center of it for the most part. Maybe a little bit towards the top, but top third, but really anywhere in there. You don't want to come too far right because then this object gets in the way. The other thing is you want to be to the left of this, somewhere in the left of it, but not like all the way over here. What you're just going to do is you're going to run, and then you're going to jump through it with your crosshair somewhere in there. And it's going to get, because you're jump throwing, it's going to bounce much farther forward and fully cover both sides. There's no way in hell anybody's seeing through here unless they push literally all the way through it, and now they're exposed. Now there's some things that can happen when you do this smoke if you're not too good at it, which is, let's say you line up a little too low and you hit it off the roof. Well, I didn't even hit it off the roof. I'm going to do it intentionally. Let's say you line it up too low. There you go. You hit it off the roof. What's going to happen, it's going to land somewhere down, halfway down mid, but it still covers everything we need. Now that's not as ideal because that means they can push it up all the way to alt, but it still is never going to leave us getting picked by an op right here. It's going to make a nade stack more difficult, and we can also get some free space towards them with that smoke in place. So again, just to kind of repeat it and work in process one more time. You come out here, make sure you walk left of the stairs, aim somewhere in that upper third, and then jump throw. It's going to bounce far enough. Because of the curvature of the land, it's going to smoke off from wall to wall. So I think that's a pretty important one. Now that'll allow us to come up here, take control of B without getting initially flanked and squeezed in, and then ultimately not know what we're doing. We can also re-smoke it from different places eventually, but that's a pretty crucial smoke that everybody needs to learn.